Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel. Today, talking a little bit about Chain Gang All-Stars by Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. I am going to tell you at the top of this review that I DNF'd this book. And I considered not even really making a video about it because, this book is very celebrated already. It's a newer book. It was on like New York Times top 10 books of 2023, nominated for the National Book Award. And like, I didn't want to just be like the guy who's like, it's actually not that good. And like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm going to say that this book was not for me. And I'm hoping that the reasons that I give here are like convince you that I have intelligent reasons for doing so, and I'm not just like disregarding it. Um, I'll give you a quick synopsis about what the book is about. Chain Gang All Stars takes place in a dystopian, like near future of the United States, in which prisoners are able to sign up for this hard sports program called the Chain Gang All Stars. Basically, gladiator stuff. If you can last 3 years on this gladiator circuit, surviving death matches, then you are free to go. And so the book is about a woman in the Chain Gang All Stars and her just like with like the last like month that she has before she's going to be freed. And throughout the book, the kind of like, I think what really the interesting part of the book is that it flows in and out between her and like side characters and like their perspectives. So we get some perspectives of like the protesters who are against this league. We get some perspectives of like this married couple who like the husband is really into it, and then the wife is forcing herself to get into it so that she has something to talk about with her husband, and like she becomes obsessed with not so much the sport aspect but the reality TV aspect, because there's along with like the actual gladiator games, there's also like 24/7 video coverage of the warriors when they're not fighting, and so that she gets really obsessed with, and throughout Adjei-Brenyah is providing footnotes. So this is in the near future, like I said, but he'll provide footnotes that contextualize things with real world history, and specifically real world history about like the American penal system, like the way that we've treated prisoners over the years. And like I said, I ended up DNFing this book at about the 2/3 mark because I I don't I don't get it. I don't get what people see in this. And when I say that I don't get it, I don't want you to think like the themes went over my head, because this is not a subtle book. It's not subtle to write a chapter about a character in solitary confinement who is being treated horribly, and then also fill that chapter with footnotes about real life instances of prisoners in solitary confinement being treated horribly. Like you cannot miss the point of this book. It is about racial inequality and bias in the American penal system. It is about the commodification and indentured servitude of prisoners as an alternative to actually rehabilitating them. Like that is all there, and I get that. What I don't get is why everyone seems to really think like this is the first book to ever deal with those topics, and saying that, but not even really just that. Just I don't think that as far as sci-fi dystopia goes, this is completely average. Like this doesn't feel like a cohesive story. I mentioned that it flows in and out between in the chapters flow between different characters, and because of that, it feels very disjointed. Like I never feel like we just have a solid grip and a solid pace just bringing us through this book. I feel like we're constantly stopping, having to change our perspective, go somewhere else, and while it's all centered on the Chain Gang All Stars League, there's a lack of narrative cohesion that's really, really frustrating. And it makes the book feel manufactured because it feels like, okay, this is going to be a book. This is going to be the chapter on solitary confinement. Okay, now this chapter is going to be about protests. Okay, now this is going to be the chapter where a character deals with anxiety. And throughout all of it, it just feels like every chapter is an excuse to give us more footnotes. Like the footnotes are really what I think sell this book. And to me, it makes the story feel secondary. And I honestly, I would read a book by Adjei-Brenyah that is non-genre about this topic. Like if he wanted to just write a straight up fiction story, fiction narrative about this, I think it would work a lot better than this very average sci-fi dystopia. And my theory is that this book is garnering a lot of attention from non-genre readers who are not used to sci-fi dystopia and they've never seen a book like this with this kind of action, and therefore they're just not familiar with it. So it's like their first taste of it and it feels new to them. And so they're like, oh, this is great. Like this has never been done before. And, you know, I keep seeing, I did something I never really usually do, which is I looked up reviews of this book and I keep seeing things about how like the action scenes are incredibly written and shocking and powerful. But like these aren't even the best action sequences I've read this week. They're well done, but that type of effusive praise for these particular scenes feel to me like someone who's not read a lot of action, who's not read a lot of sci-fi. And I was looking at the pull quotes on the back, and there's one here by an author named Tommy Orange, author of There, not to be confused with fellow booktuber Tom Orange. And one of the quotes just made me laugh, where he says that the story is told with bold, muscular prose. What does that mean? What does muscular prose mean? Like that's the thing. I feel like these are non-genre readers who are just kind of like making stuff up. And everything they say about what the book is about, all those themes, they're right. They are there. They are present and they are noticeable. But as far as a total storytelling package goes, this just didn't work for me. Like I was bored reading this. And this is really a book that I should have loved. There's a lot of good ideas in here. And it's just the matter of the execution. This feels like a non-genre writer who's used to writing hard-hitting stuff, dropping it into something with like a facade of genre. That's ultimately why I didn't feel compelled by this book or connected to it. It felt very surface level, and it was all just about those footnotes. So that's why I ended up DNFing Chain Gang All Stars. Obviously, I can't assign a grade to it, and I didn't hate this book. I didn't read it like angry or anything. It's just that it didn't work for me for these reasons, and I hope that I made sense. I hope that you see that I'm not just trying to be a contrarian. Obviously, I'm in the minority on this. It's a beloved book. People are already talking about it as a classic, and I just didn't get it. And I think reviews like this, videos like this, the reason I decided to end up making this video is no piece of art is universally loved. There's always someone who has a different opinion. There's always people that don't connect with it, and when online, it's overwhelmingly like this book is great. This book is great. You if you don't feel that way, you can feel like left out, or you can feel like maybe you're wrong because it didn't connect with you. So this video is my way of telling you, if you didn't like this book, you are not the only one. It's completely okay to not like it. It's also completely okay to love it. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. Let me know if I'm completely off base or what you think I missed about this. Because yeah, it just felt incohesive, not cohesive to me. So thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.